say that every time, and I didn't even get up from the table.
I know. You didn't even, well, I had to pee.
It was me.
It's always Larry.
But when I go in there, though, I always get confused which bowl you're supposed to use because they're both bowls. So I think I used the wrong one.
Tell him, Nate, you're a loser.
Tell Deb I'm sorry.
Hey,
That's the right one.
That was the one I used.
Okay, good, thanks.
Actually, I think the brown one's the wrong one, so that's actually really bad.
Oops. I've been using the wrong one the whole time.
It's 2 flush handles.
I know.
how many times I got to hit that loser button?
It rinses itself.
Oh, God. So, hey, since I've got some of our best critics here, Jim, why don't we ask Larry and Nate real quick just to give us kind of their opinion of the podcast, what they think, how it's been going. You guys have been listening to it, I know.
Sure you want to go down that road?
So, I think if we're going to get better at something, I think it probably makes sense.
Okay.
So, why don't we hit Nate first, okay? We'll go to our friend Nathan Sanders over here and just give us your impression of what you think's going on.
So so I live in Minneapolis, right? So I don't see you guys very often, right? It's just because life happens between the kids and work. You blink and the year's over, right?
Yeah.
And so what I love about it is that whenever we get together, we just sit around and hang out.
Yeah.
And then there's always sub conversations going on within the conversation,
Right.
where you two as brothers are constantly just. You have a whole sub conversation thread that's like it picks up and starts when you get together, and it just
Right.
pauses when you exit. Right. What I love about the podcast is I feel like I'm sitting in the room listening to the conversation being picked back up.
Right.
Right. Because the car episode, right? You guys talking about the cars, the Smokey and the Bandit.
Right.
That's not a show. That's actually what you guys would be talking about, right? Whether you're recording or not. And that's what I love about it, right? And so
Yes.
I don't know if you agree, Larry, but it just feels like you're sitting in the room with them.
Honestly, I think they're dorks.
Well, I think
Thank you,
for you,
Larry.
Nathan, you're learning about a lot of stuff and hearing a lot of things for the first time. Where I think Larry's a lot of it stuff he's been involved with.
It's I'll be honest this time. It's cool. It's listening to it, and of course, naturally, because of the history we have, I'm a part of it. I've been a part of it, and it's good memory lane. It's healthy. This is healthy. For you guys to do this, to keep your brother relationship going, just talking about memories and everything you guys done and current events or whatever, it's just all of it's healthy. It's just being able to talk to somebody and having somebody there to talk to, and yeah, it's cool. I love it. I was saying on the break, I'll put my cell phone up on my computer in my car.
Right.
And I'll just drive around, man, and just drive around listening to you guys, hearing Jimmy's laugh, and I'm like, that's great, man. That's hilarious. It's a good time. And people driving by looking at me, what's his problem?
I'll tell you myself. I'm doing the podcast, and when Grant sends me the link, I'll listen to it at work in my truck when I'm driving, and then I'll go home and then I'll watch it on YouTube again.
That's
I'll
fun.
watch it. So I'll listen to it twice. It's like right now I want to watch everything. And
You're not trying to pad your viewership, is that what you're saying? Or
no, I'm not. Although this week I did have to watch the second time because Grant had asked me about something that he threw up there, and I'm like, I didn't see that. I was actually going through pictures.
We got in trouble.
Yeah.
We got in a little trouble.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, okay, I'll handle that part. Dad gives me a call, all right? And I think you guys both know, I know Nathan knows, but Mom and Dad bought another house.
I didn't know.
Yeah, they just bought a house.
Good for them.
Yeah, and in Holland area. So they're got their house there, and so Dad's calling me up and saying, hey, this is going on and that's going on. And he goes, hey, I listen to your podcast. And I said, oh, good, Dad. You like it? He goes, let me just tell you. And Nathan's just waiting. He's done every word right now. He's waiting. Dad says to me, he goes, if I was a young man back then, I would have beat your asses. And then he starts laughing, just like you just did, Larry, just like you did. Yeah, he just starts laughing and said, I can't wait to come on with you boys and have this conversation and talk to you guys. And then he says, make sure that when I come on, you ask me about my Corvette and your mom. I really don't know what that means. I really don't know.
I can't wait to ask
But
him.
we're going to ask him, and we're going to find out some crazy stuff.
That's crazy. I can't wait to watch that one.
Hey, also on the break, Larry, you were making some comments about a cassette tape. You want to go into that? Come on, let's do it.
Oh my goodness, where do I even start with that?
The beginning.
Well, we had to have been what? I want to say like 11, 12. Nice.
This is going to be a while.
I don't even know what prompted us to do it, but
Sorry, got a piece. Sorry.
excuse me, I'll be right back. I gotta use the 2 bowls.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So we, for some reason, I don't know how this even started, but this was back. It had been in the 80s for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
What age do you think? We're 10, 12?
I would think so. We were
Spend the night at your house, right?
maybe 13, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
So Grant spent the night at my house, and we just decided to camp out in the basement. And I'm really not going to go into a lot of things that we said that night, but for some reason,
What?
we. My God, dude, we were talking about my sister. And what was that other girl's name? Was her name Mickey? I can't remember. Mickey Thompson, I think it was.
Probably.
So what made you record it though? Because conversations are one thing, but you said there's a cassette, which means you put a tape in and said,
Yeah.
let's hit record.
I don't remember whose idea it was, to be honest with you. It had to have been mine because it was brilliant, but
I can tell you, it was probably a co-production, kind of like this podcast with Jim. You know, back in those days, here's my age card. Back in those days, we didn't have recording devices like our cell phones then, obviously. So everything was on cassette tapes.
Yep.
So, Larry had a bunch of cassette tapes. I did too. Jim and I had probably done hundreds and thousands of hours of,
Yes.
audio tapes on cassettes years and years ago. And that was just something that we always did. And I know that Larry was involved in a lot of that too. And he did a lot of that too.
that's kind of where we get our little nicknames too. Mr. Socrates.
Yeah.
Grant would always be, well, Larry. And that's how we started out with every conversation back then.
I think
He was
about it
just-
like this.
just, well, Larry.
This is how I look at it, Larry.
Well,
There you go. Jesus, will you stop being your dad?
And then I was, Mr. Sound Effects or something like that. Everything had to have some sort of sound effect.
Mr.
after
Sound
it.
Effects.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good segue. You got any more on that, or is that it?
No,
I was going to say,
That's a good
I think
segue
I
or
know
something.
where you're going, but Mom was telling me that listening to the podcast, she said it reminds her of when we were younger and we'd sit in the bedroom, pull out the cassette recorder and just record stuff, do
Yeah.
fake interviews or make up stuff. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with
Is
you.
that what you were leading to? Is that what you were?
No,
Mr.
I've
Sound
got
Effects?
something else that I'll
Okay.
get into, but that's okay. I've got it on my paper, so I won't forget it. But go ahead, Larry. What do you got?
I was just going to say, I really honestly think it was your idea. You were like, let's make a tape, man. And we sat down there and we were just pumped up. I mean, might have been the same night was that the same night that we decided to go down Van Ness?
Is that the walkie-talkie night?
It might be the walkie-talkie night. What do you remember from that night, James?
You remember the walkie-talkie night?
Vaguely.
No,
Vaguely.
Larry, go ahead. You tell me.
He's scaring the shit out of us.
Jim is
Vaguely.
pleading the fifth, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Sorry, Nathan, you're getting this education on us.
Oh,
and
I'm good.
What we're doing here, but go ahead, Larry. Set it up.
Is somebody on my band or something?
He still denies this. This is how long ago, and he still denies it.
How convenient.
I don't know what they're talking about, Nathan.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what they're talking about, Nathan.
of course
I
not.
don't know.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah.
It might not have, but you spent the night so many times. It could have been another night.
Probably. But we're going to say it was the same night
And we're going to say the same.
because it makes it more fun.
We decided to get brave that night. And we decided to go venture out after dark hours.
And how did we get out of the house, Larry? How did that work? Is that what your grandma was?
Dude, don't even start the grandma stories. You really don't even want to go with the grandma stories.
All right, never mind. We got out of the house.
So we decided we're going to go. Well, at the time, my house was right on the street called Bancroft.
Yep.
And if you went down 3 houses at the time, and you turned left on a street called Van Ness. You walk down, I don't know, like 15, 20 houses. Yeah, and that's where Jim lived. And we decided we was gonna just like, let's go exploring. Let's go be cool. Let's go do something fun.
Yeah.
So me and Grant get dressed and
was
start
late- it was
walking
late,
down there.
too,
Yeah, it was late. And we boogie down there, and it was stupid because, knowing that I'm an adult now, if I saw some kids running down the street, hiding behind trees and stuff like that, I'm like, stupid kids. Wouldn't even think anything of it. Here we are, we're like, oh my God, your car, here comes a car. And we're like diving in bushes and everything else like that.
I'm sure people saw you too.
Oh, without a doubt.
You think you're being sly? They're like, what are these kids doing? Jumping behind that tree?
They definitely saw us.
Turn my brights on to watch him
Watch
dive.
this.
We might as well have like a bright colored flag waving it when we were doing it, but and this is the '80s too. I mean,
Yes.
back then it was like not a big deal because
Oh,
nobody
no.
thought that they're breaking into cars or anything like that.
Yeah.
We ended up going to Jim's house, and
Yeah.
of course it was late, so we were not going to like ring the doorbell and say, "Hey, can we talk to Jim?" What the heck are you kids doing here?
We were smarter than that.
Yeah, we knocked on the window. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember much from there. I mean, other than we talked to Jim.
Well, we had our walkie-talkies, and we split up. You're on the north side of the road, and I'm on the south side of the road, walking down the same street. And, we're doing the Martin McFly, the car. Red alert. And us being stupid, and we're diving underneath, trees. And I just remember laying underneath an evergreen, right, like a pine tree. Laying underneath there, and you're like, I think the car's gone now. Of course, the whole road's black, and I'm like, yeah, no kidding, dummy, they're gone. But we went over to Jim's, and we're like, he's not there, he's not answering the window knock or whatever. So we start walking down the street, and then all of a sudden, Jim comes on over the radio. What did you remember what he said?
Oh, he's like talking about kicking our ass, get out of his yard.
That wasn't me.
I know who you are.
I'm like, Grant, is that you?
No, I think that's Jim, because of course I knew his voice. I think that's Jim. It's not. I'm gonna find you and beat you. We're like, oh my God.
I know where you live.
Yeah, so we just ran home.
But then also, it was like at the time Rambo was pretty popular too, and I remember like, oh, I'm gonna be Rambo. I'm gonna walk through the creek.
Oh, sure.
Scoosh. How stupid I was.
Yeah.
Walking around with
Soak
wet
your
tennis shoes.
Soak your issues, yeah.
So how would I have known you guys were on your walkie-talkies?
Really?
I don't know.
Still denies it. Still denies it to this day.
He's pathetic.
I
Okay.
know.
We
knows
love
what
him,
he did.
but he's a dork.
I need to confess someday to this.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come clean, Jim.
I honestly don't remember.
Hey, let me ask. I want to ask Nathan something here because this is kind of a little segue into it. I wasn't going where you're going, but I want to go where I was going to go.
Okay.
We're all 50 plus now, unfortunately, for our ages. But when Larry turned 50, you assisted me in making a video for the man. And I don't know if Larry was around or privy to hear the stories about Christy watching you from the sofa. When you
Oh
were
no, I seen the outtakes.
No, but you don't know what Christy was. Did she say something? Take it away. What do you think?
I plead the fifth because my wife will watch this. No, so for those of you who don't know me, I have a lovely wife, Christy, and 2 teenage daughters, Livy and Maddie. So I'm recording this in the kitchen with no context for any of them.
Right.
I was like, hey, I'm going to record a video for Grant. And they're like, well, that's weird. And then I start talking about Larry, and then I'm recording it. And so let's just say that the peanut gallery was confused
And entertained.
and entertained, if you want to call it that. So there's some shots were fired. So lovingly, of course.
Well, there was there was 2 specific videos that Larry I told everybody to record. Okay, the first one is I said, okay, I need you to say something to the effect of this, which was, oh, Larry knows I'm Larry's favorite, you're not, that kind of a thing. So there was that, and then the other part of it was I'm going to put some music to everything in the end. I just want you to jam out like you're jamming to some music, and there's no music there. I said I'm going to add the music later. Everybody went, oh, okay. So he's seen Nathan down here, he's jamming out, man. He's got the fingers up in the air, he's jamming out like an 80s rock band. And all you can hear him going, and then, know, so after about two or three takes, you can see him like this, right? And all of a sudden, you see Christy's head pop up from the sofa, going, "What are you doing over there?" You know? Oh God, that was so funny. That was so funny.
That was probably for that time of year,
Yeah.
when we had COVID and lockdowns and everything, was probably one of the best gifts anybody could actually really get.
That was a tough year for everybody because I was supposed to have a 50th birthday party too that Deb was planning, and that got canceled. And you knew about that too, didn't you? Did she reach out to you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So, but I got to tell you, we had so much fun because I was telling Jim, I think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna try this. And then I went over to his house, and then I was over there, and you were in your backyard, right? Mm-hmm. And then I started doing some stuff, and I said, okay, Jim's going to jam out. So I put Jimmy Jam. Remember that on the bottom of the screen? It said Jimmy Jam. And then he's jamming out, and I'm sitting there right next to him, right? And I'm jamming with him too. And later on, I looked at the footage, and I went, what was I going to do with that? I don't know what that is. So that's why I put on the video. I had no clue what I was doing here. It was so funny, and we had so much footage that when it was over with, I was able to put that blooper thing together, or the making of video or whatever. So it was a lot of fun, man.
That was great. Did you guys ever see the ending video of that, the whole thing put together?
Yeah.
I want to say I did, but I don't know how long it was, but I saw one with a bunch of people, so I think I did see the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very cool.
I mean, the way it was, kudos to Michelle. Michelle's my fiance, going to be my wife,
Yay.
which I'm very excited about.
Wonderful, wonderful lady.
Yes. Never have been excited to actually.
What the hell she sees in you, we don't know. But anyways,
Never know either. But
Does she listen to our podcast though?
yeah, it'll be over now. I thought I was getting married. Yeah. So, I guess at some point in time, Michelle reached out to Grant. She said that, she heard about this, and she wanted to make my 50th birthday party special, and she couldn't.
Yeah.
Her options were very limited because of COVID 2020. Everybody was locked down or whatever, and she got a hold of the absolute one person in the world that would have been the greatest choice to do it, and it was Grant.
wow, thank you.
And
Well, that's cool.
it
Maybe
was.
I'm not a loser.
The cool part about it is the way that I don't know who edited it, how it came out, or if it just came out that way, but it was like this storyline starting that Grant was doing with, the history of all our friends and relatives and stuff like that.
Right.
And then mixed in between it was people that I've met along the way, some really good friends, that I know through I belong to a motorcycle club and, through work and stuff like that.
Right.
And then boom, back to the story. And then, would have some more people, and then boom, back to the story. And then, the way it ended, with everything, it was just wonderfully put together. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not holding any punches back at this age. It brought tears to my eye.
Wow.
It really
Oh, I don't
did.
doubt it
was,
at all.
It was absolutely amazing. It was great. It
Wow,
was
thanks.
it was one of the best things I've ever had given to me, or an effort like that done. It was cool.
Well, and we got some other guys from school that we haven't seen forever, right? And like Doug Scribner, Chris Boyk, Dwayne S.
Yeah.
Some of these other guys that we just grew up with, right? And thank goodness for Facebook, because we're friends with them. So I just reached out to him and I said, hey man, make me a 20-second, Phil Kazmierzak, make me a 20-second video. So I did that with everybody, and they came through. And I was just like, oh my
Jordan
God.
Merzriak was on there too.
Jordan Merzriak, our resident comic book maker. Yeah, he was on there too. It was just really nice, man, and I just thought it came out really well. I was very
awesome.
happy with it.
It really was.
That was pretty cool. I'm not getting Phil messaging me, but let me see if I got him real quick here while you guys are talking. And he's not. So I'm going to ask Larry another story here real quick, and then I'm going to go over to. I got Nathan. I got something on here for Nate as well. I want to ask Larry. I'm going to have to take you back in time.
Uh-oh.
All right. This is one that, and I'm almost positive. I talked to Jim about this the other night, and I thought this was hilarious. But I know for a fact that Phil was there, and I was there. And I was dating Christy. He was dating Christine, right? And I'm pretty sure we were there. And for whatever reason, we all got a bug up our butt that we wanted to go to the club. And we decided that we're going to go to Henry J's.
Does that involve Long Island iced teas?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So we go to the club, And the way Henry J's was laid out, I don't know if you ever went to Henry J's, Nathan, but the way that it was laid out is, it was like a big square, right? And they had the bar in the center, or not the bar. The bar was on the outside edges. There's two different bars, and in the center was a huge, big dance floor, right? And in the back of the dance floor was the DJ's booth, and above the DJ's booth was a great big, like,
Dance area.
yeah, but it was like narrow.
Yeah.
So you could only get a few people up there. And we're on the dance floor, and I'm almost positive that you were there. And we're all sitting there dancing, and somebody, and they're going to say it's me, but somebody came up with the idea, hey, let's go up. There's nobody up there. So we start going up there. Do you remember this?
I do remember this.
You
yes.
were there. Okay,
yes,
good.
I was.
So we went up there on this dance floor thing, and the DJ sees us as we're going up there, right? And he turns on the lights, and we get up there, and it's you, me, and Phil. Was Keith Drew there too? Was he there, or was it just us three?
I think it was just us three. I can't remember. There might have been somebody else there, but I can't. That's a long time ago. I mean, that's a real long time ago.
Yeah. Well,
I do remember that night because I remember that was probably where I had a certain drink.
oh, was that the Long Island?
That was the Long Island iced tea. It's the first time I ever had one was there. That's why I'll never forget that night.
Well, we started going up there, and the DJ sees us, turns the lights on, and as soon as the lights come on, it's just us three guys, and we're like spread out like YMCA dancers, right? We're spread out up there, and we're all facing the dance floor, and we just start dancing in unison. Wasn't pre-planned. We started doing like grinding and jamming, and all the girls on the dance floor freak out, didn't they? They started all screaming and hollering, and our girlfriends were like, yeah! We're just up there just going to town, and the DJ, as we come down, if I recall correctly, said something to the effect of, you guys need to be here every Saturday. Because we must have danced one or two dances. We come down, we're tired, I'm sweaty, I need something to drink, and I just remember that. And Phil was up there, and he was laughing his Phil laugh, if you remember what that sounds like.
Had to been about Phil because of that mullet that he had. They were probably like all over him.
Looks like Mel Gibson, man. Back in Lethal Weapon days. But yeah, that was that one. Jim, you were thinking about something else. What did you think we were segueing into there?
Oh, the sound effects.
Yeah, Mr. Sound
The
Effects.
sound effects. I thought we were segueing into the making video or cassette tape. Cassette tapes when we were younger with your little sound effects machine.
Oh yeah. Tell me some more about that. What are you thinking on that one? That we were just,
Oh, we were little though. I think
we were.
might have been 11, 9, 11, 10 in there.
Yeah, that was late '70s, I think.
And it was Magic Merlin or something like that.
Yes, it was like
Is that
a
what it
big
was
red
called?
machine or whatever. Magic
was
Merlin.
purple.
Was it purple?
It was a big purple, like
Maybe it was purple.
looked like a walkie-talkie,
Oh, my
like
God.
huge, like or a giant satellite phone, and it had all these different kinds of buttons and sounds, and they were dials too, so you could like play a police siren, but you could make it longer or short or faster, and you could make all kinds of sounds, helicopter sounds, and all these, but you could combine them. Mm-hmm. And we used to take the cassette tape and we, do little skits, and then use the sound effects. I remember falling out of the helicopter, remember we?
Oh yeah. Oh,
What was the line? Don't worry if you fall. Because the helicopter's going. This just starts slowing down.
Jim's trying to just ad lib and just go
I think
after
we're
it.
running out of fuel, and and then he goes, you start falling. One of us fall, or no, don't worry. If we crash, we're above the Grand Canyon, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Why do I want to say you played this for me at some point? Because of what you guys are
Probably
talking
did,
about, I
'cause
do remember
Yes.
hearing something.
Yeah, but all sorts.
But Jim forgets this part, okay? Is that he goes, number one, don't follow the helicopter because we're over the Grand Canyon. And he says, and don't worry, it's okay. If you do happen to fall out, we're not that far off the ground. And we went, like, what the hell?
I was 10. What do you?
Oh my God. Yeah, we,
amazing.
We did a lot of those videotapes. And that I do want to ask. I got another one for Larry. I want you to tell Nathan because I don't think Nathan knows this story. Tell him about I think it was junior high, the junior high marker incident. Dun,
I don't even know why I did it. Well, we were in art class.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what was wrong with me. Girls will make you do weird things.
This was great. You're gonna have to do the present. You're gonna have to do it all. Come on.
It was junior high because I'm trying to remember the girl's name, Amy. I think it was Amy. And she was a good-looking girl. As a matter of fact, when my dad passed away, and So I'm kind of in the process of cleaning up, Dad's house and going through stuff. And my dad told me that all our stuff was gone. But long story short, I ended up finding a box of my stuff that I thought was just gone forever.
Right.
And it was pictures from back when we were in junior high. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm going through these pictures. And I found this picture of this girl, and I'm pretty sure her name was Amy. I can't remember. If she ever does hear this, please don't be mad at me because I didn't remember your name. It's only been 30-some years. But,
Exactly.
so she was in our art class. And do you remember her name? The teacher was like Mrs. Whitaker or something like that. She's a black lady, thin black lady, wasn't she?
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds right. But I don't know.
Yeah, so we were there and we had these markers and we were doing things, and for some dumb reason, I can't remember why I did it, but I decided to draw a mustache on me. And it was a big old curly, cute mustache on both sides. And I look over and I'm like, oh, and we're laughing and everything. And Grant looks at me and he goes, it's a permanent marker, you idiot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I get up and I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to walk through school all day like this. So I go up to the desk, the teacher's desk. It's Mrs. Whitaker. And I'm like, can I go use the bathroom? She can't
She goes,
use it.
yeah.
And then, and she was like, why do you need to go? I don't remember how it played out, but at one point down, I was like, because I got to get rid of this. I took my hand off. I was like, I got to get rid of this. And she was like, oh, my God. She goes, yeah, she can go to the bathroom. I was sitting there trying to scrub it, and I came back, and it was still on there faintly, and my face is all red from trying to
Beat
scrub on it.
red. Beat red. Even scrubbing it unmercifully.
And I got laughed at by this hot girl, and I'm like,
And you got to wear that for the rest of the day. That was
rest
your
of the day,
punishment.
that was it.
It was faintly there the next day, so that was like the talk of the school for at least a day.
I'd say it was art class like first period because that would make it like 10 times worse. Right?
It was bad.
And I wondered,
bad.
it's clear to me now, but I wondered all those days why your mom and dad call me geek all the time, but it's pretty clear right now.
You finally realized what the reason for it. Huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
It only took 35 years of growing up. but you
Clear as
learned it.
day.
Yep. Yeah.
I was a geek.
That was Dad. Yeah, that was Dad.
That's what I was going to say earlier when Nate was talking about how much respectful that was of him to go up and, fix his cummerbund with one swoop and everything like that. He was like, hey, he's a really respectful guy. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck, man? I never got that. He called me geek. What the heck did I ever do?
Well, maybe he felt bad for the cummerbund. I don't know,
Yeah.
I love your dad. He's a
The
great
fact
guy.
that he felt comfortable enough to say that.
Yeah, no,
He did
absolutely.
respect you.
They love me like one of their own.
I know.
So,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows that Dad well enough that if he kidded with you, he liked you.
Yeah.
If he didn't talk to you, now you're in trouble. If he didn't like you, he wouldn't even.
Well, it's just like you said,
You know.
getting in trouble last week. Called you up and said, if I was younger, yeah, your ass.
So yeah, it was almost like.
But he's really, really excited to sit down with us and tell us some stories that we've never heard.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Hey, Nathan, I got one for you too. I was just thinking about, and nobody at this table knows about this story except you and I. So why don't you, if you remember the story of me taking you to school when we drove the truck down in Kentucky, and I almost crashed it.
Well, which time did you almost crash it?
The one main time that I'm talking about, and you should understand what I'm saying. It's only once.
Well, first
I
off,
almost fell asleep. Remember?
First off, we have the bright idea. Like, we loaded up the truck and we're going to leave in the morning. And then we looked at each other and we're like, why leave in the morning? Let's just leave right now. It's a 6.5 hour drive down to Kentucky where I went to college. And, it wasn't the best plan. There should have been a pullover moment at a rest area. Probably several times. That's why I was like, which time? Because we had those swerve moments where you were like, oh shit, I'm swerving, and I was like, oh, I was waking you up type situation. So I don't remember a big moment. I remember several moments but we still never stopped. That's the thing that as you look back as an old band, you're like, why the hell didn't we just pull over? It was so brilliant. It's 11 o'clock at night. We can be there by 7 a.m. We'll go straight through with no sleep. What could go wrong?
The one that I was kind of thinking of that I remember is that I was driving, and we were approaching an intersection, and this truck was going through the intersection, the opposite way of us, and he stopped in the middle of the intersection. I don't know if it's for other traffic, he had to stop where he stopped. And I'm driving, and I remember looking going, oh, look, there's a truck. And I kept going. And finally Nathan goes, Grant! I was like, so I was just going to drive right into it. I was in that much of a fog. I was like, oh, look, there's a truck.
I must have blanked my memory because I remember that now that you said it. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And God, I was paying attention.
Not because the car was heading towards
Oh,
him.
no. They weren't heading toward me. I was going to T-bone the passenger side of the truck, the other truck. And that's kind of what that was, yeah. And I just,
What'd you say you drove down there in?
my blue S10.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, we loaded up the S10, and it was a great drive. We had a great time.
I just came across a picture of that
You know,
the other
came-
day.
The S10?
Yeah.
Which picture is this you're talking about?
Well, it's got.
Is that you and I?
Yeah, when I had my Mustang pulled in, you had your S10 pulled in, and you and I were in front of it doing the Bill and Ted. And, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I should have been called a geek with you. But yeah, that was fun though. But Nate, when we did that drive down to Kentucky, that was a great time, man. I had a really good time with that, and great conversations. But anytime that we ever stopped talking, and I was driving most of the way. I think did I drive the whole way or most of the way?
No, you drove the whole way.
Oh, good God!
No, because remember, that's when I was working at Roadway on the freight docks. And
Right.
I had tore my groin. And I didn't, and it was uncomfortable to sit. And I was like, well, I don't want to drive because, I'm having painful issues at this moment. So, thank God, that's probably what kept me awake to be able to see him getting ready to T-bone that truck.
Oh my God! I just remember that because I would have just drove right into it. I would have, oh look, a truck. Just, I would have scratched right into it. I would have just went right into it.
Yeah,
Hey,
but just
Nathan, were you with us the senior skip day? Did you go to Cedar Point with us?
the black Camaro was in front of me.
Okay, you were there.
Oh, hell yeah!
There was two fine gentlemen named Larry and Jim in front of me. And you guys made the wise decision, which I thought was fascinating, to put a CB in each vehicle.
Oh, because that's how we roll, baby.
So the story that I always tell is that we're driving, and we are well above the speed limit.
How many cars did we have going?
2. I remember 2.
Okay.
Because Grant and I were in one, and you and Larry were in front. And randomly, for no reason, which I did not understand, but I thought was the funniest dang thing I'd ever heard in my life, Jim picks up the CB and goes, "Lottie-dottie." And I just was like, what the hell was that? So I looked at Grant. Grant goes, "Lottie-dottie," right back. And I have, to this day, it still cracks me up because there was no prior conversation. There was no point to it. There was no lead up. You just went, "Lottie-dottie." And then it was quiet for a while. And then Larry goes, "Lottie-dottie."
We like to party. We don't cause trouble.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's my driving to Cedar Point memory. Because it was just that stupid moment that was the funniest thing for no reason, right? That's the best part about it. Because you guys have been talking smack. I'm going to get there first. No, I'm going to get there first, And
Yeah, we're stupid.
when he had the CB, when Larry had the CB, Jim was yelling. When Jim had the CB, Larry was yelling, right? And
Right.
everybody's just talking smack. And it was just that quiet, calm moment. And then here comes Jim. So and that started that for like a good 20 minutes.
That drive was insane. I'm sorry. Jim, watch this. Just passes.
Oh,
So
my
it was a senior skip day that you were talking about?
That would be the day, Jim, that you passed the person in the emergency lane to make sure that you beat us to Cedar Point. That's my other memory of the drive there.
You do that. You did that before. We talked about that. Oh,
Senior
man,
skip
you
day,
got.
Deb was with us too. In her own car.
She was fine. We lost her. We ditched her.
You don't remember that?
No, was she following us?
Yeah, she was car
She
number
followed
3.
us and her dad's Jimmy. I know Larry remembers.
Yeah.
And she had a couple of her friends. And they weren't going with us. They were going separately, but they didn't know how to get there. And when I got to Grant's house in the morning, he said, I knew who Deb was. I had met her. No, was that the first time I met her?
That was one of the first times.
It might have been the first time I met her. He goes, this is Deb, and she's going with her friends. They need to know how to get there, and they want to follow us, if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Good luck.
Very long.
Good luck.
We're
Does your
passing.
car do 110?
We pass everybody.
So we're passing people. And I remember Grant, Jim, you were behind me with
Yeah.
Nathan?
Yes.
And
After you illegally passed all those people.
Deb can't get around the car that was just passed. Okay, we'll wait a little bit. She's tried a few times and she's not making it. And I'm still passing people.
Oh my God.
So you finally go and catch up to me, and I'm like, it's okay, we're close enough. She'll find us. She'll find Cedar Point. Now I said, if she just stays on this road, she's gonna see a sign.
She'll see a sign.
Yeah.
We got her on the main road. That's all that counted.
Oh my God.
And when we got to Cedar Point, I remember getting to Cedar Point, and we went to the restrooms right away. Of course, because we'll drive, and we come out, and there's Deb and her friends, and they're all standing around, and they come running over, and I'm like, see, we found it.
Oh my God. I feel like, and who was Nate with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're in your show.
I almost feel like Nathan and I had a conversation when Jim's like, okay, Jim's leaving us, and Deb's getting further away. Jim's far, like we're in the middle. Deb's getting further and further behind us. I'm just trying to keep Jim in my eyesight. I'm just trying to keep him in my range of sight.
But you knew where you were going.
And, no, I knew where I was going, but we're just trying to stay together.
The problem is that Jim was talking smack every millisecond that
Yeah.
he was getting ahead of you.
Yeah.
And you were trying to. I remember Deb being
Where's
there.
the
I remember the.
emergency lane?
What's that?
Where was the emergency lane that I passed in?
It had to have been
Right
right,
before
around
we got there?
Davis Bassi, I would imagine.
There's it's two, right, that goes to Cedar Point.
Yep.
There's spots in two where the road gets wide, and when the road gets wide, they have an emergency lane there.
Oh, okay.
And you had been playing this game where you're coming up, and then all of a sudden there's an emergency lane. You went whoop. And I looked at Grant and I was like, "Don't do that."
For the non-racing community, they call that 3 wide. But what I was saying is I recall looking at Nate, because I couldn't remember it was him in the car, but I remember going, okay, at what point do we just go? Right? Because it's like Jim's getting further and further away.
I remember that
and he's going to be
conversation
gone.
now.
And I almost feel like saying, okay, at what point do we just save it? And I'm pretty sure you said, screw it, let's go. Just go. I went, okay. And then I hit the pedal
remember.
down.
I remember. So I still don't remember that it was Deb. I do remember there's a third car now that she brought it up, and I do remember that we were
funny is
discussing
that?
it. I don't know which one of us said, "Screw it, let's go," but we were in complete agreement. So whoever said it first, we're like, "Yep,
Let's go.
it's over." Because I do remember turning around and looking now and going, "We're trying to decide what to do," and I was like, "I can't even see him."
Yeah.
I think that's when we were like, "Let's
Well,
just go."
That's what we were saying too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
I just remember it because it's the story I've told often because it's the first time I met Deb,
yeah.
the woman I married,
And
and I
he
left her.
ditched her. It seems to me I recall hearing over the CB, "Baba baby."
No, I never did that.
Oh, I wish you would have.
Jim, she was attracted to your superior driving skills, right? So
She
it was
is.
actually
She
a
goes-
good day because she's like, he is such a good driver.
Well, she wanted to date Grant. She goes, man, his brother kicked his ass driving
What
up
the
there.
hell is wrong with you?
Well, folks, it was nice talking with you. We're going to conclude.
She knew. She wanted cold trickle that day. She knew what was
Oh
going
my
on.
God. Tell you what I told you the first time I beat you, Rubbin's racing, Jim.
To Grant's defense, he was in the Busch Series. You were in the Winston Cup. So
Thank you very much.
Oh, they're just ganging up on me left and right. Yeah.
What were you driving?
The Chabot.
He just fell.
Yeah, the
No
Chabot.
wonder I whipped his butt.
So, in the Camaro, yeah. You can't do a 6 versus an 8. That just don't add up.
No.
That don't work out at all.
Well, I think that's the first time I took the Camaro up there, too. So,
But you know,
I was having a lot of fun with the V8.
there's even another good story in regards to going up to Cedar Point that I don't think happened on that trip, or maybe it did. Where Larry was in the opposite car from me, and I'm eating cheese balls. Did you forget about that, Larry?
Oh,
You
They
remember
were
that?
in my car with me.
Okay, all right.
And Larry was in his
and Larry's-
Batmobile.
and he-
yeah, it was an old Cutlass.
And he's driving up next to me, right? And he's just looking at me. We're looking eyeball to eyeball going down the road a lot faster than we should have. Sorry, Dad. And I'm eating cheese balls, and Larry's just driving, right? He's just driving. He goes. So yeah, so do that again. And Jimmy was laughing. Watch this. I must have done it like 4 times. And Jim's like, "That's hilarious. Now stop. You're wasting all the cheese balls.
The cheese balls.
Don't waste my cheese balls." Oh, I forgot about
We
that.
laughed at that for so long.
Oh, I know.
It was so simple.
What the hell do we think was going to happen? Throwing out a cheese ball at 85 miles an hour.
We weren't going that fast.
We were doing a speed limit.
81.
Yeah, I don't think we were going
It
that
just
fast.
felt fast because you were young. You weren't actually speeding.
Oh, we were in the 2-lane before we got down to left town. We were to 1 lane each way. We were just driving, just having fun.
Oh my God. I've got a story that I could tell Nathan about somebody that we all know named Larry.
Why did I become the center of attention? Can
I
we
don't
talk
know.
about Jim for a little bit?
No.
We just did.
We just did. And his superior driving skills over his 6-cylinder son or brother. There was a time, Nathan, I'll tell you the story. I'm just going to kind of like get my way into it here a little bit. But there was a story where Larry decided that he was going to have a whole bunch of friends over. And he says, "Grant, you need to come over. I want you to come over too," right? And we were pretty young, so we weren't driving cars yet. At least I wasn't. So I had my bicycle, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get on my bike, do my homework, whatever I got, I'm gonna jump on my bike, and I'm gonna head over there to whatever time that was supposed to be." And I remember telling my mom, "Hey, I'm gonna jump on the bike and I'm gonna go over to Larry's house." And my dad overheard it, right? And he's like, "Oh no, you need to do this, 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 and this first, and then you can go." I'm like, oh man. Okay, so I start doing the best job, the fastest you've ever seen, you know, in history of mankind. And I get all my jobs done. I jump on my bike. I'm riding over there. I'm a sweaty mess because I'm rushing trying to get over there, right? Because they decided they were going to have a couple of drinks at Larry's house.
Well, let me do a little precursor on this
Yeah,
because
you go ahead.
this is, I'm almost positive this was either our freshman or sophomore year in high school. And at the time,
Probably freshman.
we had half days during exam week. We would only go to school for a half day and then we'd go home. So, and I don't know who did this, but you know, there were people there like Doug Scribner was there, Chris White was there. It was either Tony or John House. I can't remember. They were there.
John.
Steve Duenas was there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. So, anyways, we decided that we was going to throw this little impromptu party at my house because there was nobody there. I didn't, you know, my dad was working, and
Your sister wasn't there.
my sister wasn't there at the time, and so I was like, all right, cool, everybody come to my house. So we get there, and we were idiots. I mean, we were kids. We're not drinking pros by any means. We start playing quarters. We started playing quarters with the worst possible thing you could think of. It was any hard liquor we had. It was
Yeah.
like Canadian whiskey and Jack Daniels.
Schnapps.
And it was just crazy.
So Nixon,
So a half hour later, we're all like drunk.
yeah,
Playing
of
quarters.
course.
So it was a complete mess. Now, I don't remember a lot of this because I think I just went upstairs and napped because I didn't drink underage. But Grant was kind of recanting all this for me, and he was telling me about the complete catastrophe while I was taking my nap and getting over the flu or something.
Yeah. Drunken flu.
He said that it was crazy. He said my dad had this Jaguar. It was like a 1968 convertible Jaguar.
Yeah. Nice car.
Throw up all over the side of it. There was 2 guys up in the bathroom laying over each other in the bathtub from throwing up.
Passed out, by
Passed
the way.
out, yeah. And then there was like
People in the-
barbecue potato chips all over the house.
Yeah. Ground in.
Ground in.
Stepped on it. People
My-
passed out in the front yard.
Yeah. At the time, my dog, Tanya, she was a little Norwegian elk
Yeah.
hound. She had like shaving cream saturated in her.
Yeah. Somebody found your fireworks.
And Steve Duenas was still the only one standing out front lighting off fireworks in the middle of January.
Yeah.
That's not drawing attention
On a main road.
on the main road. So meanwhile, Grant's at home because whatever reason, he
I got stuck doing
got
chores.
stuck doing like 700 chores.
Yeah. So I
So-
finally got on my bike and rode over there as quickly as I could. I was about 40 minutes late, and that's all the time it took. 40 minutes late, and I pull up in the driveway, and I see some people in the front yard. I'm pretty sure I had a quick conversation with Steve Duenas because he was lighting fireworks. I go in the house, and I think you were on the couch at the time. You weren't up in your room sleeping as of yet. And you're like, Grant, oh God, Grant, I'm so sick. My dad's gonna be home. Tanya's hiding under the shed or under the garage or wherever she would hide, right? You gotta, oh God, Grant, you gotta help me. And I'm like, you guys all suck. I came over here to have a couple of drinks. Had I been on time, I'd have been somewhere in that house passed out with the rest of them, right? I would have been.
But the thing is, my ass wouldn't have been saved.
No, God loves you. God loves you. So, anyways, real quick, I just, I took you and put you in bed. Got you upstairs, put you in bed. Got the two drunk asses, whoever they were, out of your tub. Somebody had driven over. I put their drunk asses in their car and made them leave. And they drove away. Because I didn't know any better. I was this kid, right?
See you. Good luck.
Yeah.
You have slept a little bit. You're all
You're
right.
okay. Okay, man, thanks. Steve left. Everybody that we had that was there, I got everybody out of the house. I started cleaning up the house because I was like,
The entire house.
It was everywhere, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
he
so.
cleaned it
Got
up.
Tanya out from underneath the
Clean
garage.
Tanya up,
called-
clean the
yeah,
puke up,
off the
just
car,
everything.
off the Jag.
He would picked up every crumb from the
You know why he
barbecue.
wants to go over this, right? You know why he wants to tell the story.
Why?
Why don't
He wants some retribution, man. He cleaned up after
Oh
you.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
think we're missing
What are
the
you gonna do
point
for me, Larry?
of the story, though. That Larry threw a 1980s party movie
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did, because if you think about all those cheesy 80 party movies,
That's it.
Larry had a cheesy 80s party
Sure
movie
did.
at your house in real life.
It only lasted an hour, though.
That's almost what makes it even better.
It was everything except the kid, trapped underneath the glass coffee table, but everything else.
You're missing the dead guy that they dressed up at Weekend at Bernie's and the kid under the glass coffee table going, I can't lift it.
No kidding aside, though, Grant saved my ass.
Oh, I can only imagine.
What did your dad say when he
My-
got home? Tell me.
As I'm literally, my dad's pulling in his Grant's going out the door to get on his bike and leave. Hey, Mr. Emery. He's gone.
Yeah.
Dad comes in the house and he's like, hey, you did a great job on the house. It looks great. And just give me all these things. Oh, thanks, Dad. I'm just not really feeling good. Grant came over and helped me out a little bit. Good job. To this day, I don't think I ever told Dad about it. I may have. I don't remember. But my dad, as I got older, my dad was pretty more liberal stuff. He didn't ever.
He was pretty mellow.
Yeah, he just.
Now, the dog probably tried to tell him. The dog probably kept looking at him going, do I smell like shaving cream? I smell like shaving cream.
Yeah, smell my ass. Smell my ass. Smell my ass. Well, I even took all the bottles that they had taken from them because your dad kept them in the basement, right? And so they brought them up there all over the house. I had to find them and I had to fill them with water back up to the line that your dad had drawn on the bottles. I'm pretty sure there was a line on the bottles.
Oh, jeez.
So I had to do all that and put all that shit back and make sure that was done right. And I literally left as he was pulling in, and he waved to me, and I waved to him, and I got in the bike, and I took off. Because I was like, I don't want him, no questions, I'm out of here, you know what I mean? So that was good. And then he goes, yeah, Larry, hey, you did a nice job. You did your chores, you cleaned up the house, I'm really proud of you.
So, did you come too before Grant left?
I did. I was waking up and feeling better.
Better.
And it was a serious flu thing. It was like only an hour-long flu. Weird.
I hate
But
those.
and I took all the credit with my dad, too. I was like, I worked really hard on this, Dad. Grant
I was-
sat there and watched TV.
I was sick.
Watching Tom and Jerry.
I was sick.
That's
and
great.
I cleaned the house, Dad.
Yeah. Grant was no help at all. You'd think he'd help a sick friend.
No, that's not how I work.
not your
around here.
style.
No.
That story's been told over the decades, and it's always ended the same way. You saved my ass. You really saved me on that one.
Well, the only thing I'll tell you about that is that if the roles were reversed, you'd have done it for me,
Oh, for sure.
you know?
I remember another story I'd like to talk about from somebody saving their ass when somebody was yelling at you, I'm going to call your parents.
Oh, well, let's come back to that. We're going to take a break. We'll come back to that. Never.